Dyslexia by Sarah Randall. Dyslexia is a learning disability where students have spatial reversals and shifts in words and such. It is considered a neurological disorder, and students usually have problems with reading, writing, and spelling, and sometimes with math too. Dyslexia is usually in genetic, and 5 to 15% of people have dyslexia. Dyslexia is diagnosed. It is difficult because there are different conditions for each person, and because they're so different for each person, some people think it is a self-created condition, but there are consistent developmental patterns in dyslexia, and you have to have clinical diagnostic testing, and there has to be a careful diagnosis. The symptoms include the people dissociate symbols and sounds. They will guess words and meanings because they're not sure what the words are. They'll have confusion in verbal instructions if there are no visuals. They can lose their places while reading, and they'll skip lines because there's problems with how the words look. They can also have symbols like letters and numbers move, disappear, or even change size. They can reverse the symbols. They'll overlook details also because the symbols will move. Sometimes they'll be slow, and even when they are slow, they'll misread or mispronounce. There can be a confusion from left to right also. Math can be difficult for them because the symbols change. They can have difficulty sequencing, and motor skills can be difficult from head to hand and such. Parents can help by protecting the dignity, because there are problems where the student goes and sees professionals and they just don't feel like a person. The child should have personal organization help, and sometimes they'll have a lesser self-esteem because they feel like they're not smart. There is peer insensitivity with that, and so parents should help with that. And also there are some misconceptions about dyslexia, and the parent can learn about it and give awareness for dyslexia. They also need to help motor skills, especially when they are a young child, and also watch the diet because fatty acids can actually affect reading with it. How schools can help is they can talk with the parent on how best it would be to talk with the child, because the parent should know best. Listening to the student, because sometimes the student has problems and the student should say, I'm having problems reading this and such. Doctors say that progress is more important because they're getting better rather than they're not at the equivalency of other students because they do not have that disorder. Schools should encourage to be able to make that progress also and make goals for the student, and also assist if that student does have problems and make sure they're able to get the access they need. They also need to clarify, because with the verbal they need that visual sometimes, and they need to help students with essentials such as they shouldn't have so much homework that they can't do it all in one night because they're having problems reading, and be able to just go over everything for that student. With this disorder, they still can be a success. Some people with dyslexia are sometimes above average or even superior. They'll be creative, even a genius, such as Da Vinci, Disney, or Einstein. Da Vinci was creative with his works, making engineering. Disney, he was making cartoons and movies and all of that. Then Einstein was actually good with math, so he was one that didn't have problems with math, I assume. And this is my bibliography. I found things from a handbook, Nelson and Reed, who